Hello everyone, I hope you're well. I hope you've been enjoying your first week back on site as well. Whilst we are on site for a few days, we still have some remote learning tasks to do on the days when we're not at school. So for our performing arts task this week, I would like to play one of my absolute favourite games. Because we are now in the middle of spring, it got me thinking about all of the new growth and plants and vegetables and fruits that start to grow around this time of year. So I thought I would sing a little song about a farmer and some apples. Now, there is a game that goes along with this song. If you would like to pause the video here and get yourself prepared, you're going to need 3 or 4 objects that could be apples. They might be real apples, or they might be things like tennis balls or rolled up socks, something that's a small round apple kind of shape. Alrighty. Okay, I'm all set up with some egg shakers to be my apples. What I'm going to do is set my egg shakers up over on one side of the room, far corner over that way. And the aim of the game is to try and get as many apples from that end of the room to that end of the room as quickly as I can. I only have the length of the song to get them there. Now, have a listen to how the song goes so you know how much time you've got. So you can see how quickly you're going to have to run. It sounds like this. On the farmer's apple tree, lots of apples you can see. One for you and one for me. Pick a little apple from the tree. And that's it. It's not long, is it? We don't have much time. Let's spend a minute learning the song first before we play our game. Can you please keep a steady beat on your knees as you listen to me sing and see if you can work out how many beats there are in total in the song. So while you're listening, you should be going 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Here we go. On the farmer's apple tree, lots of apples you can see. One for you and one for me. Pick a little apple from the tree. How many beats did you get to? Was it 16? If it was 16, you are correct. Well done. This time, I'm going to sing one line at a time, and then when I point to the screen, I'd like you to sing back what you've heard so that we can start to learn the words. Here I go on the farmer's apple tree. Lots of apples you can see. One for you and one for me. Pick a little apple from the tree. Well done. I'm now going to try 2 lines at a time. There were 4 lines in total there, and we did 1 line on its own. I'm now going to do the first 2 lines together and the second 2 lines together and see how you go echoing. On the farmer's apple tree, lots of apples you can see. One for you and one for me. Pick a little apple from the tree. Well done. Notice how the first few lines, they rhyme, and they also tend to follow the same melodic shape, don't they? It's just that last line that sounds a little bit different. Alright, lucky last practice before we play our game. This time, can you try singing the entire song with me, keeping a steady beat on your knees? Here we go, on the farmer's apple tree. Lots of apples you can see. One for you and one for me. Pick a little apple from the tree. Alright, let's try playing our game. Make sure you have your apples. Place them all at one side of the room and see how you go, getting them all the way across to the other side of the room. Remember that you are only allowed to take 1 apple at a time. You can't be greedy and take the whole lot. It has to go 1 across, and then the next one across, and then the next one across, and so on. Are you ready? Here we go on the farmer's apple tree. Lots of apples you can see. One for you and one for me. Pick a little apple from the tree. Stop! How did you go? 1 apple? 2 apples? 3 apples even? If you'd like to, you can always rewind this part of the video and play the game a few times and see if you can beat your best score. Now, let's take a look at what kind of rhythms we're hearing in this song. Okay, I have my whiteboard here divided up into some beat squares. It's a little bit hard to see. I hope you can make that out. We have 4 squares in the top row, 4 squares in the second row, 4 squares in the third row, and 4 in the fourth row. Each row equals 1 line of our song, and each square equals 1 beat. On the farmer's apple tree, lots of apples you can see. 1 for you and 1 for me. Pick a little apple from the tree. I want to fill each of these squares with the rhythms that we're familiar with to show how many sounds we hear on each beat. As you may remember, we know that 1 sound on a beat is called ta, and it looks like this. We know that 2 sounds on a beat is called ti, and it looks like this. We know that if we hear no sounds, if we have any gaps when we touch our shoulders, we call it sa. We've had a squiggle in. I don't know about you, but I didn't hear any sa's in this one. I think every single beat had some sounds on it. We also know that there is a new sound that we're looking out for that has 4 sounds on a beat. I wonder if it might be in this song as well. Let's find out. We'll start with row 1. On the farmer's apple tree. Well, that works out quite well, doesn't it? Apple tree. I think that actually matches what I've written there already. That was handy. What do you hear in the first beat? On the. If you hear 2 sounds and you think it would be a ti, you are correct. Well done. Farmers. Farmers is also 2 sounds. Therefore, it will be another ti. We're going to call this pattern A because it's the first pattern we come across. What about the second row? Lots of apples you can see. Starting with the first beat, lots of. I hear 2 sounds. Ti. Apples. What do you hear? If you hear a ti, thumbs up for you, you are correct. You can. Also ti. We're starting to get a bit of a pattern. See. Oh, we've broken our pattern. It's just 1 sound there. It's a ta. What do you notice about the first row and the second row? They're exactly the same. That means our second row is also pattern A. Now, have a listen to the third row, and I want you to work out if it is pattern A, again, or something different. We've heard, on the farmer's apple tree, lots of apples you can see. Here's the line we're listening for. 1 for you and 1 for me. What do you think? Is it the same again or different? It is the same again, pattern A. Oh my gosh, this is a repetitive song. So many pattern A's. What do you think about the fourth line? Will that be pattern A as well? Pick a little apple from the tree. I think that one might be a little bit different, don't you? Let's start at the end here. Tree. That is a ta. It's the same as the other rows. Could be the same, pattern A again. From the. That is a ti. That is 2 sounds. It could still be the same. Apple. That is also a ti. Could be the same. But then here, I hear something different. Pick a little. I think that is our new sound. Count carefully with me. Pick a little. 4 sounds. That is indeed our new sound. Now, some of you were trying to figure out how to write this new sound last week. Let me show you. Because it is 4 sounds, we need to have 4 vertical sticks like this. We need to show that they're all joined together on the same beat. So we put a line across the top. And to show that they are different from a ti, that looks a little bit like 2 ti's joined together. We want to show that it's different from that, because 2 ti's would have to take up 2 beats. This only takes up 1 beat. To show that it is different, we add an extra beam across the top. So we now have 2 horizontal lines joining our vertical sticks together. Now, this new sound it's not just TT. We also have some extra sounds in there that we need to fill, which we call ka. Tika, tika. Tika, tika. It actually sounds a little bit like our song, doesn't it? Tika, tika, tika little. They have the same kind of sounds there. Tika, tika, ti, 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 ta. Let's try singing through the song using our rhythm names. Here we go. Ti, 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 ta. Ti, 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 ta. Ti, 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 ta. Tika, tika, ti, 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 ta. Very well done. Let's take a look at our seesaw task for today. When you click on the Add Response button, you'll be taken to a square that looks like this. Just like in our video, you can see that there is one square per beat of our song. You need to use the pencil or pen tool to draw in the correct rhythms to show how many sounds you hear. For example, in the first beat, if you hear 2 sounds, you would draw a TT. In the last beat of this line, if you hear 1 sound, you would draw a ta. Don't forget to show what pattern that line will be, pattern A, pattern B, etc. And remember that our new sound down here in line 4 has 4 vertical lines and must have 2 beams across the top, otherwise it is incorrect. So remember that 2 beams across the top and 4 beams up and down. Complete the rest of the squares as well as the form allocation on each side, and then click the green tick to submit your work when you're done.